And here we are. Okay, guys. Well, I think it came out very, very nice. It's big. It's much bigger than I thought it would end up being. I went with the kind of multi-tiered design. I figure, I don't know if I'm going to put storage on the outside ring, but basically it allows me to put multiple tiers so I could have different levels dedicated to machines from, like, this could be all Darkcraft stuff and Darkcraft related. Over here, it could be all thermal expansion. I could do all mechanism machines down here. It gives me space to spread out and work. I don't feel crowded. I can also, as you can see right here, I plan on putting machines, bumping them in, so I can actually run cables underneath, basically, because there is the giant bottom half of this entire thing down here. Now, that's in prep for our next project. This is very, very cool. This stuff is called Skylight Block. It's from Remote IO. It's not too hard to make. It's stone, glass, stone. It is solid, like that, when you make it. And when you apply a redstone signal to it, it's all connected textures, and it all shares the signal. It goes transparent. It's very cool, very neat. I love this stuff. I like being able to look out the bottom. Now, the whole thing itself actually came out real big. This is basically, I put a builder's guide in the middle, and it's 18 from the center in both directions. or in all directions, and then 18 straight up and straight down. So it is a spear. Kind of weird. I've never built something this big, this high up before. I did fall to my death twice before I finally got good enough feather fall and learned to aim for the water. So yeah, very cool. I think it came out good, and it was definitely a challenge to build. I considered using the skylight block instead of clear glass by Tinker's Contract. That's what this is. And I considered using all of this to be skylight block, but honestly, I don't know why I would want to turn it off and just basically make this thing opaque. It seems like it'd get dark and gloomy real quick. I like being able to look out. Now I've got this little thing I made up here. I'm not sure why. My kind of observation platform, basically. I expect that I'll be able to use this to kind of look around and survey the adjacent towers and all the adjacent structures. I think that's kind of a cool idea. As you notice right here, portal, I actually found a portal gun when I took a dive off the actual structure by accident. And I landed down here, right here. And you'll see there is actually a monster spawner down there. Didn't even know about it. It even made the world transition with us, and it turned out it was a zombie monster spawner. Had 2 chests. I found a portal gun in there, a couple of paint templates from open blocks. Paint templates, sorry. And these things, ender lily seeds. You plant them and they grow ender pearls. So super nice. I really love having those. Now, I did make some thermal expansion machines. I haven't really done anything with them yet, but I did make some. I have expanded out the storage room. That's where the that one crate you saw downstairs. I mean, up in the skybase. I did expand out the storage room, and I even put some sorting pipes back there just in time for me to realize we were going to move. So I kind of put all that on hold. I'll make a sorting room, storage facility of some kind later. Right now, I wanted to get all the power infrastructure. Oh, actually, we need to be over here. All the power infrastructure done as quick as possible now. I ran across a problem. I had a pipe running down here. This is behind the scenes stuff. Anyway, I had a pipe running down here. It was a universal cable from Mekanism, and I ran it under here. It came down to where all my power generation was, which is now all gone, you'll notice. It's not because I'm moving house. I was actually running across problems. I've been using Opus, O-P-I-S, by Professor Mobius. This helps you see like number of entities per chunk, monsters, critters, live. That's my livestock right there, sheep, cow. All my chickens escaped. But I have something nasty somewhere. That's a heck-a-day. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to do this. So, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, I was using Opus to try and figure out why my game had started getting laggier. Basically, where'd you go? Noisy bastards. There you are. Breathe too loud. Go away. So, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, basically... Oh, come on, get in the door. There we go. I started running across lag problems. Real bad lag problems. You see, like right here in this area, you see this update time, 9.8, 8.7. The total, if you look at the very bottom, says Biomagical Forest, and then it'll say 47.9. I was running across single items like power conduits and power storage from Mekanism that had update times in the 50s, which is really bad. So I was getting a lot of lag, and I was having to figure out why. And the basic gist of it was Go party elsewhere. That I have been running across kind of a, I guess, a bug that's still being worked on in Mekanism and in Enderio, because what I did was I pulled out. When I started running across a problem. I thought, well, maybe it's a bug with Mekanism. I reported it to Aiden C. Brady, and then I pulled out all my Mekanism stuff and made spent a whole bunch of resources to make a whole bunch of Enderio conduits, and I started running across the same problem in Enderio. So I had to report that to Crazy Pants, and now it looks like I'm going to have to be pushed upwards on my timetable for making a reactor. So that's what we're actually going to do right now. Got all the materials. Let's go back up here, and I'm going to actually grab one stack of that. I don't know why I have you. Okay, so I'm thinking, let's see, base, I'll do it right here. So what I'm thinking is, I don't know if I have to access the bottom or not. Okay, well, I didn't need that block. Okay. Basically, what I need to do is big reactors. It's a multi-block structure that lets you, so I don't want you there, make power generation almost like a nuclear reactor, but it's I think more beginner friendly. This is almost like setting up the crafting station, the crafting machine for my brain is escaping me right now, for applied energistics. Same kind of concept. I think I go across. I can't remember. Thankfully. Now this is going to be a very short one. It's not going to be very efficient, but it's going to get us started, and I can dedicate some resources to making it more efficient. Now what I think is redstone control port. I'm going to put you back there. Actually, no. I'll put you on... nope, decisions. Redstone over here. And then I've got access ports. That's what these are going to be for you. Not enough controllers. Reactor power tap. That's going to be right here. And the controller, which I'm going to put right there. Control rods mainly be placed on the top face. Aha, see, so I've got it too tall. That's what I like about this. Mainly be placed on the top. Oh. So I think what I have to do is do casing. Then let's actually try. Aha! There we go. I feel smart now. So, this is Big Reactors by a gentleman by the name of Erogenous Beef. I know, it's a great name. Very, very interesting controls, basically. We have one fuel rod. It's about 3 high. You've got these ports over here. There's going to be basically... Now, what I've done, if you look at the arrows, this is an in port and this is an out port. So what we can do... I'm going to get a stack of yellorium. Just put that in there. It pulled about 12 ingots. So that's about 4 per control rod unit that I actually put in there. And you'll see it says full. Let me turn that off. 100% full, 100% enriched. heat, and then buffer. Now, I could turn that on real quick. Control rod, 50%. Reactor 1. Set. You can use these things with computer craft, which is very, very cool. So this thing is basically going to turn into a massive battery for me. The key is I'm going to have to figure out ways to turn it on and off when it is not being used. So, still not sure how I'm going to do that, but we'll get to that point later. Let's see. I have one fuel rod. Heat 55 degrees Celsius and rising, as you can see. This thing is building up temperature. Now I have this at 50%. If I basically lower the control rods to 0, you'll see it's building up heat a lot faster, but it's also generating a lot more heat. I mean, a lot more power. So basically the balance with these things is you can be 100% safe. See, the heat is dropping drastically. But with 100%, I don't even know if it's... Yeah, see? That's pretty much no power per tick. So, I think 50 is what I'm going to set it to right now. I don't want to set my entire base on fire. But I've already got... Actually, you know what? If we run it in short bursts, it'll be fine. So I'm going to let this build up some power, and I'm going to get some wiring done for some, basically getting this hooked up into some stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay, quick update. I don't have any active cooling going, but I do only actually have one control rod assembling this thing. It is stabilized 130 RF per tick, which is not bad, but when you consider that a standard magmatic dynamo is 40 RF, this is basically 40, 20, 40, 80, 120, just over 3 magmatic dynamos. So I am going to have to expand this thing out, put some active cooling in it. One of the things that the creator, Erogenous Beef, did was you can actually put, notice I have a control rod assembly, and that's it. Now, if you spaced it out, and I have space over here, I could put water around it to cool it and make it more efficient. But he also made it to where you can put iron blocks in there to use it for cooling. And iron blocks or gold blocks or even other kinds of liquid, like the crazy liquids from Thermal Expansion, like gelid cryothium. Gelid or gelid, I don't know, cryothium. Anyway, this stuff you can actually use to cool it, and it's way more efficient than water normally is. Even iron blocks or gold blocks are more efficient than water itself is. So I think I might expand this once I get some more materials. But basically what I've done is I've got a hardened energy cell from Thermal Expansion here. And that is, I wish they put commas in these things, 2 million RF storage, and it is filling up very quickly. So this thing's pretty effective. I like it. I mean, this right here, we're just powering the battery up, and then we can turn it off whenever we want to. It's still got tons of fuel, but pretty much the temperature stabilized at 115, and it hasn't gone up. And I have the rods all the way in. Basically, if you put this control rod percentage up higher, it generates less power, but it also generates less heat, which makes it safer, quote unquote. When you start getting bigger and bigger reactors, this starts to become a lot more critical. Now, you have a redstone control port right here where you can give it redstone signals to shut down. The cool thing is that you can hook this up to, I think there's even a, let me turn this back on, big reactors. There is a, Reactor computer port. You can use computer craft and actually interface with this thing and shut it off at specific intervals, at specific temperatures, the whole 9 yards. It's very, very cool. We've got tons of power stockpile. So right now I'm going to shut this off. I forgot I've got 2 different kinds of, I got leadstone conduit and I've got hardened. I need more hardened because this stuff just isn't going to cut it, so I need to upgrade this. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go do that. Hang on. Okay, this is definitely working out. I really like this. By the way, I moved my rain muffler down here, and I can't see it from there. I spent a lot of diamonds and burned our chandelier to make, well, 4 more chandeliers so I could make a magnum torch. So this entire sphere is now covered by a protective bubble of happiness. Don't have to worry about monster spawns, even on dark spots. It's very, very nice. 128 blocks in all directions. So we have a lot of space on that thing. Oh, I forgot to turn this off. Ugly. Okay, so the reactor is working quite nicely. I actually really like this thing. Just turn it on and off for quick high-powered bursts. I definitely need to expand it, though. I have a buffer battery right here that goes up to a bigger one right here. I had a capacitor bank I was using that still has some residual power in it, so I'm just dumping that out. I'm not using those anymore. This is the, in case I didn't point it out, this is the lower half of the sphere. This is the lower bowels. I really like it. I think this is going to turn into kind of the muckworks, the dirty underbelly. This is where all the power cables and liquid conduits and all that crazy stuff will get run, so I don't have to look at it upstairs. So this is what I've got top side. I can check my battery right here. I've got my thermal expansion corner, my 2 Ender IO machines, and then what I might do is over here start putting all of my mechanism machines. Probably start right around here, curve them this way a little bit, put a couple more over here. I think that'll be really, really cool. But this really points out we're going to have an absurd amount of space in here. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with all of this space. And I have other structures planned for near... Oh, I forgot to move that. My magna crucible. I mean, igneous extruder. This is what I was using. Hot tip. I had this thing creating cobblestone, and I was pushing it into the sag mill. So I was basically pulverizing it into sand, and I was just taking the sand in lots down to my actual Tinker's construct setup downstairs there, so I could make more and more and more and more clear glass. Wow, that looks really cool. I gotta say, that's a screenshot moment right there. Yeah. I like that. That's cool. Okay. We're making progress. I'm going to keep moving things up in the meantime. The reactor is actually working quite well, but I can already see that I need to expand it and actually think about not only making it bigger, but using cooling. Even if it's starting off with water, I could put water in it for some kind of cooling and then work up to iron blocks. I think that would be very, very good. In the meantime, I'm going to keep plugging away at moving the rest of the base up here. By start of the next episode, I hope to have all the rest of the machines moved up here, and I will probably temporarily move all the storage over on that side until we can get the storage one built. But you know what I'm thinking about doing next episode? Twilight Forest. Yeah, I think I'm about ready. I've got my jetpack. I've got my equipment. Oh, by the way, I didn't know you could enchant these things. They're freaking awesome. I love them. I'm going to try and get a whole bunch of redstone arsenal stuff in the meantime, but you can enchant them. Unbreaking makes this thing use less power. It's normally 200 RF per tick. Unbreaking 3 makes it only 80. It's very cool. So, but yeah, I'm thinking Twilight Forest next episode. I really love to go out there. It only costs a diamond to make a portal and some flowers. I have both. And it gives us access to a lot of really cool loot, a lot of neat magical stuff. We can start bringing back some neat trees. Some magical armor from there. That would be really, really cool. I'd love that. Maybe get some trophies in the process, but I'm not going to get too ambitious for my first trip. But we'll see. We'll see. I think that's probably going to encompass all of my next episode. Oh, by the way, for all of you jetpack aficionados from Mekanism, before I forget, this is a gas tank. It's actually Mekanism. No recipe found. Thank you very much. At my Mekanism. Basically, you make a gas tank and you plug it into your electrolytic separator, and it is just osmium ingots around iron powder. Makes a gas tank. I plugged it next to one of my electrolytic separators, filled it up with hydrogen, and I kept this thing full up here. You'll see it holds a lot of hydrogen, and I have been filling my jetpack off of this constantly. No need for power. I can plug it in there, walk away for a few minutes, and come back, and it's totally topped off. Really sweet deal. I really love this. I'm going to try and keep one of these handy, probably put the separators and the hydrogen set up downstairs, but keep one of these charged up so I can keep my jetpack topped off. So, yeah, I'm really hoping you guys have liked this episode, and I hope you're seeing the promise for the new base that we've gotten ourselves into. I can't wait to see you next episode where we're going to get into some magical trouble of all kinds. Bye-bye.